now entering the Horror Sanctum.
Hello and welcome back to the Horror Sanctum podcast. I'm Jay with John and Kellen. And while we sometimes disagree with one another's opinions, Kellen, one thing I think we can all agree on is we love Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi brought us the Evil Dead franchise, which is just absolutely beneficial to our lives and helped get us into the horror scene. So today we're going to be chatting about his latest film, Send Help, starring Rachel McAdams and the kid from The Maze Runner. It took me forever to figure that out. I'm like, who is this little bastard? And I'm like, he's the kid from The Maze Runner. I love that film, that series too. So, anyways, this is a new movie. If you're not familiar with it, a woman and her overbearing boss become stranded on a deserted island after a plane crash. They must overcome past grievances and work together to survive. But ultimately, it's a battle of wills and wits to make it out alive. So this movie came out in January, fresh, fresh, fresh. So spoilers.
Spoilers indeed. Send it help 2026. 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is incredibly high. Um, like Jay said, Sam Raimi, we all love Sam Raimi. He directed one of my top five favorite horror films of all time, Evil Dead 2. Gave us the incomparable Bruce Campbell, um, which is having his health stuff. So thoughts and prayers or cut off hands and chainsaws to him. Um, this is listed as a horror thriller comedy starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, who has such a punchable face, and they gave him one of the most punchable names possible, Bradley. Um, this movie was a little underwhelming. I had high hopes because Rachel McAdams is phenomenal as an actress. She doesn't do a lot. You don't see her, which gives you no burnout. I mean, she's been in a lot of things, but it's very sporadic. So you don't really just get burnout on her. Um, but I didn't like her character because I think they went too hokey with all of the gee willikers and all of the like nobody really talks like that in today's day and age, especially not somebody who's, you know, in position to be a VP. I think, having her be a little quirky was fine, but to have her be so quirky that she's socially inept, like there's no way that she makes it into that position to be that important to a big company to the point where they're looking at her being a VP. Um, the dad obviously steps down or dies. I don't remember. I barely paid attention to that, but when his son Bradley takes over, um, it doesn't leave any room for her to be anything other than completely discarded. And I think that kind of does a disservice to her. I think it would have been better if she was a little more confident and she was looked over because she was a female. And I know we talked before about movies being too preachy, but that's a lot more realistic than the situation that they provided in this movie. Um, they wouldn't have brought her to, like, nowhere in reality would they have brought her to Japan with them. If she was that integral, she would have been promoted long before. The most realistic part is Bradley promoting his best friend because anybody that's worked in corporate world has seen that happen where friends get promoted. Oh, we were old college buddy, and now he's the VP of my company. I worked for a hospital years and years ago, and half the VPs all went to the same university as the CEO and president, who ended up getting fired because he was terrible at his job. But that's the most realistic part. I will say the plane scene when the side gets ripped open and it shows the water coming up, like as they're about to hit the water, I thought that was very well done. It was such a neat view because typically we just see the outside of the plane when it crashes. We don't get that, impending doom from inside the cabin. But that's pretty much where the movie starts to kind of fall apart. um, they make her she's this quirky weirdo, but she's also a survivalist, and is amazing at being a survivor. So then it's like, well, I don't get the character. That was my biggest complaint of this movie. I do not get Rachel McAdams' character in this film. Um, some of it was okay. Um, obviously, the hunting scene is probably one of the best scenes in the movie where she's hunting the boar. Um, The fight scene between her I thought was really fun. It is always kind of like hard to believe when a mousy female takes on a man, and I'm not trying to be sexist, so don't come at me. I'm just saying physically men are overpowering, so it's always weird when a man and a woman get in a fist fight and the woman's holding her own. Um, Even if she is a survivalist, I do like that was an eye scene I didn't want to see when he shoves his thumb into her eye.
He's a little
It
bitch
also,
though.
yeah, he
Like
is,
he probably would lose a fight.
but still, he
He,
tackled her and then she got up almost immediately and was ready to fight again. Um, the thing, I don't, it's hard to really put a finger on all why this movie is just so underwhelming. It's basically horror Castaway. It's just the two characters for most of it. Um, it's weird that his fiance is the one that finds him on a little boat. Like if they're really going out in the area, they're not giving up searches. We've seen where planes crashed in the water in reality, and they've searched for months where people are still out searching, and they gave up 2 weeks after this happened. Um, if the crash site had washed up, the fact that there's a house there and people have been to the island to drop off supplies. Nobody's heard the boat. Every time a boat or something showed up, it was just Rachel McAdams' character. He didn't hear or see anything. Why would she bury the girlfriend in the sand and the hands sticking up? I mean, it's like not like it doesn't make sense. That's probably the big problem. A lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. The movie is just a mess writing wise. Um, why did she want to keep him on the island even longer? Like, what's the point? Like, once you've gotten to the point where he's kind of working with you, no, I needed just a little more time. No, you don't. Why? Why do you need more time? What are you going to accomplish by keeping him on the island even more? It's not like he's going to have some kind of magic epiphany and all of a sudden be a better person. He's going to go right back to his, sheltered, you know, life where he's a rich brat who owns a company because his dad gave it to him. That's not the world works where he's all of a sudden going to have a change of heart because she was so kind to him while he had his leg broke. And he showed it multiple times. Like, at what point do you just say, you know what, screw it? There's a boat, get off the island, or there's a house over here. Call for help. I'm done with you. Like that's the character that we had, but we didn't get that. We got her that's willing to kill two people to prove a point to this guy. It was just stupid, and that's what I kept going back to. I was like, the acting's good, the cinematography's good, the movie's stupid. Oh, that scene's pretty cool. The whole writing is dumb. And I think that's what's so disappointing because Sam Raimi has given us such good gems in the past. I mean, and I will say that Multiverse of Madness was kind of a miss for me. That was
Drag Me to
probably
Hell was his miss for me. I could
which
not
one?
get into Drag Me to Hell to save my life.
See, I like that
I
movie
don't know
until
why. I have it. Like I'm gonna give it another shot, but I've tried it at least 3 times, and for some reason it just I don't know. It's weird.
I mean,
Yeah,
and it happens to every good director.
Oz the Great and Powerful is kind of the most meh for me. It's okay, but
Oh
that's
yeah, I
like
don't
his.
count that. I don't even think about that one.
It's kind of a meh movie. Yeah.
But
Dark Man.
this one was just it's like one of those things where I was excited for it because it looked interesting, and then it's one of those movies where the preview gives you everything that's important to watch. Once you get the preview gave you all the scenes you needed to see to understand what this movie was, and then you watch it and you're like, oh, there wasn't anything else. This is just it for me. This was just a waste of time. I'll never watch it again because I have no desire to be that bored again. There was nothing in it that was so groundbreaking or fun or interesting that would make me want to go back. So send help, send it back.
Damn. Uh, I honestly, my sentiment's not far off. I don't know what
I might have needed TJ tonight.
I think he would have liked it. I don't know what I totally expected with this. When I saw the trailer, I was pretty excited, but I kind of thought it was gonna be more of a serious thriller, like but creepy. Like I don't know why I kept thinking of like A Simple Plan, that movie he made with Bill Paxton, and I thought like, oh well, he knows how to do that type of movie, so maybe he's doing something that's horror but is more thriller and serious. And I realized pretty quickly that this is not what that was at all, right? He was not doing that. And I think that probably hurt my viewing of it because I wanted something else. I'll say from the get-go, though, it is a pretty movie. It's filmed well. The acting is good. Rachel McAdams does great at being gross as fuck in this movie. I just the beginning with the sandwich and the mole and just all of it, like they do a really good job of making someone who was once the mean girl in Mean Girls look ugly. Um, Dylan O'Brien, I mostly know him as Styles from Teen Wolf. I liked that show back in the day. It was fun, like a 2000s version of Teen Wolf. It was fun. He's like a nerdy kid in that show, actually, and he's pretty good as an actor. But he definitely plays a dickhead in this, and he's really good at playing a dickhead. I know what you mean, like punchable face. He's a total prick in this movie. I think the biggest problem is probably that, like you're talking about, it's not realistic. Everything is so exaggerated. People are playing like caricatures. You know, all the people that work at the office, Bradley, her, they're all kind of, I mean, she's kind of the most, I guess, normal, but she's not normal. But everyone else is just evil caricatures, right? I mean, yes, dynamics exist like this in the workplace, but these people are just the devil, man. Like it goes so far beyond like, typical workplace shit. It's like the worst coworkers ever, the worst boss ever, just the worst, right? And that's kind of where to me, it starts to fall apart is when you can't believe that characters are real and you're just like, well, this is silly. You kind of lose me a little bit with it. The other thing that I didn't like was the CGI. I know CGI is a big deal, but CGI in this is bad. The boar, when she's hunting the boar, it's so bad. Some of the CGI they use for the blood and stuff is just unnecessary, and Sam Raimi knows better. I don't know. It must be a studio thing. At this point, I don't know why it keeps happening that way. They did good violence in it though, like the end fight scene, the whole thing with the eye. It's good, but then other parts like that boar, you're just like, what the fuck? Why even do that? If you're just gonna make it look like a PlayStation 2 game, it's like terrible. The whole plane flight thing when they're fighting and the plane's falling apart and he's like grabbing onto her and she stabs the guy and his head starts hitting the window. I knew then, I was like, okay. This is like Evil Dead 2, but not practical effects, and it's kind of trying to be serious. That's immediately when I knew what he was doing. All that to say, like, I don't hate this movie at all. I really don't. I wouldn't even say that I dislike the movie. I'm just kind of bummed out that it wasn't better than it was because I expected so much, and there's a lot of good stuff in it and possibilities in it. I know you were talking about like why she did what she did, why she keeping him on the island. I think she's crazy, clearly, and I think she's in love with him. But I think it's one of those things where, they allude to the idea that she killed her husband. They talk about the idea like that she's trying to make him into something perfect. So maybe like she has a pattern of using men and trying to make them into something that she wants, and she's obsessive and loves him. And I think that's probably even though it's a weird explanation, that's probably the explanation is she wanted this idea of something and she thought, well, this is my chance to
And see, that for me was
mold
just
him,
off because like they didn't give you any like anything to lead in that direction until all of a sudden it happened. There was no build up or there was no like her looking at him online or anything. There was nothing, and all of a sudden she's in love with him. I was lost on that.
Yeah, I think like when you see her in the office and she's trying to suck up to him at first, it definitely comes more across like she's just wanting the job. But they definitely they didn't do a good job. I agree. If that was his intention, they didn't plant that seed just enough until later. And then you kind of are left with the idea that, well, she's crazy. She has things that in her mind that she wants to be ideal that aren't. So it's kind of a half-cocked idea in a way. I definitely could have done without the scene of him drowning and her puking on him as she's trying to revive him. I really didn't need to see that. That was just too much. I don't know what it is about some scenes now with like that. Like Evil Dead 2 was violent as shit, and there's nothing in that movie now that and maybe it's just I'm desensitized to it, but nothing in that movie is just like that. But oh my God, if you puke on someone like that, that is so fucking gross. I don't know what that says about me, or I don't know. The whole house thing, I agree, that's odd. how did they not know? Did the guy not have some sort of satellite-based internet that he could see the cameras on the? I mean, that's a little weird. Like, why would it be there? I mean, that was a little odd. They didn't really do much with that. Um, I think overall, though, I mean, it's not a boring movie. It's fun. And I was not bored by it. Like the whole setup, like especially when he starts talking shit to her and she just grabs the stuff and leaves. And he's like, all right, I can wait all day. And then it does like the ominous doom doom music and he's like about to die. It's fun. It's not, I wasn't like mad at the movie, but I was just kind of bummed. Much like a dad who's disappointed in his child. I was disappointed. I wanted more. So that's really my thought is middle ground, kind of disappointed.
You weren't mad, you were just disappointed, which hurts so much more. Here's the difference,
Yeah.
I think. I don't know if you guys remember, John. I know you said I can't wait for the movie to show up so you can watch it on the site. I think Kelly might have said something like he wanted to see it too. And I always said I really don't have any urge. Like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it, but even watching the preview, I'm like, okay, this is something I can definitely wait on. So I kind of didn't have any expectations like I think you guys did. Um, I don't know if she was in love with him or she has just I mean, who knows if she hasn't killed other people, right? Like this could be she's some sort of thinks she's a vigilante, right? And she killed her husband because he was abusive and I would assume raped her, did something bad. And now she has this other toxic guy and she has an opportunity to change him, regardless if she loves him or not. She has an opportunity to make him see the error of his ways, which I think is part of the reason she tries to stay. I think it's a little bit of the power because she's obviously had no power in her entire life. And it's probably also just being fucking pissed at him. Watching the Survivor video with the friends on the plane and laughing about it. Um, I thought it was very cringy and I thought it was very satisfying for me because we all have a boss that we've had that would treat us this way or a coworker. We've all had an awkward person at the office that's weird that eats tuna fish and it's just strange to look at. Mine at my office likes to wear open toe shoes, and her this little piggy went to market. The little piggy that stayed home is on top of the one that went to market. Like, girl, cover them things up, right? So it was satisfying. I love the plane crash where he was bouncing on the outside. That lets you. And come on, guys, it's Sam Raimi, right? What serious movie has he ever done that's like straight up serious? But when he was banging on the outside of the plane and she just closed the blind, like I chuckled. I thought that was funny. Um, they did try to make us think that they were gonna like if you went into this cold, right? And then they're in the cave and like, oh, body heat, and then they're like staring at each other, eating on the beach, and you kind of get that chemistry feeling. And you're like, if you didn't know anything about this movie and you didn't know who Sam Raimi was, you're like, they're gonna fall in love. Like this is where it's trending. Like even Lindsay, I made Lindsay watch it because I'm like, whenever I watch a movie and then we're going to talk about it like a couple days later, I make her watch it. Like that's in Scream 7. So she liked it though. But she's like, they're not going to get, no, they're not going to get together, are they? So she kind of had that because she doesn't know like we know, right? So I like that they kind of did that for people who don't know what they're getting themselves into. The vomit scene was terrible, just relentless. It like was like 4 different times into the mouth. Awful. The CGI pig was a lot too, and then her jumping like I like coming crashing down on him. I'm like, okay. Um, I don't think she buried the fiance. I think she fell into the water and she just washed up on shore. Because I don't know how many days had passed in that, but
But
that's
why
the
would she be her hand sticking out and she was so far away from the shore?
dramatic effect, Kelly. He's got to see that ring shine. Also, that was a very Planet of the Apes nod. I don't know if anybody caught that, but
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, we're watching Planet of the Apes here. Um,
Mhm.
here's one of my two questions I have for this evening. Who's the villain in this movie? Like, who do you consider the true villain of this film?
I think they're both bad. I don't really think there is a hero in the movie, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's one of those
Yes.
things where they try to switch it halfway through. Like he's the villain, obviously, that creates her to be the villain. It kind of reminds me of the Joker in which one is it? Which Batman novel? The one where he's basically all it takes is one bad day.
Killing
Not
Joke?
The
yeah,
Killing
the
Joke.
Killing Joke.
Yeah. I think like it's one of those
It's the one
situations
where the
where it's
camera
like just
Joker camera cover, right?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, the Killing Joke.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where like halfway through she becomes the villain, because she's trying to make him not the villain. But again, that just didn't sit.
Great
I think it would have
comic.
been better if she just went full crazy early on
Yeah.
and made him, even though he was the villain, made him the good guy in that situation. But they didn't.
Killing Joke's great comic, but it was not a good movie. I didn't think.
No.
But
I thought it was. I thought it was if they had taken the whole Barbara and Batman having a relationship. Like if they'd have taken that out and just kept it straight to the novel,
mhm.
which is what they did after that whole scene. But that part just absolutely killed it for me because it doesn't happen in the book.
Yeah. Also, and I don't think she explained it in the movie, but how did that house have electricity nonstop? Like, if it was generators, someone had to be coming to the island on the reg to fill them up or whatever,
Well, it's
right?
a
Like,
solar panel, but even that, it's not
I,
going to be. Solar panels aren't going to be that great for an island.
yeah, I don't know.
I
I
don't
thought
think
about
it
that
would
too
be.
because they didn't really have a lot of lights in there, but she had the security cameras. So like, if she didn't have the security cameras, I wouldn't have thought twice about it. But yeah, I'm like, okay, wait, how? How's that? Um, I thought it was clever. Like, obviously there's Bezos and all these other people. They probably have houses like this on remote islands that we don't know about. So that part didn't bother me. I thought it was just kind of clever that she found it and then she's like, "Don't go over there. There's thorns and shit. You don't want to fuck with that." And she's just going and showering and eating and doing whatever she wants, which is probably kind of factors into how she could beat him in a fight because she's more rested than he is. Um, but I'm going to say he's the villain because you never root for him. At any point do you root for this man? And to me, that makes you a villain. It's just that I'm gonna poison her, then I'm gonna get this fucking raft and go. Like, why not just say let's make this raft together and just keep nailing your point home until she gives in? Is like, okay, let's make this raft. Like, why did you have to do it in secret and then try to abandon her and then her pretending to cut off his balls? I enjoy that part. Lindsay's like,
Oh,
no, they're not doing that. They're not doing that. And it was a rat. I'd rather have been his balls. I'm being honest, but yeah, I just never root for him. So I'm like, ah, fuck him. But I enjoyed this overall. Again, I didn't have huge expectations coming into it. Sam Raimi biased. Bruce Campbell was in it. John, you had text like it said Bruce Campbell's in it, and he's the guy's dad, and he's only in a photo. It's like a wedding photo, and it is Bruce because you got to have Bruce. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this one. We can go around and give our rankings and close up shop, and then I have one more question, and then we'll close out. Kellen?
I will say I did enjoy that she gets away with it at the end, and I think mainly because reality, because there are people like Bradley in this movie that get away with everything, current president of the United States. And it's nice to see the little person give them what they deserve and come out on top because it's usually just you keep getting just knocked down until you die. So it was nice to see her, but that also was kind of weird that now she's like wearing the tennis outfit, even at golf course, whatever, and she's driving the fancy car, which is completely different than her in the beginning. So
That's because she's got money now. Like I
yeah,
assume
now
she took
she's
over that
become
company.
that person. I don't know, but I am glad that she got away with everything and came out on top in the end. Screw Bradley, you suck, and everybody like you. Um, Other than that, like I said, it was just a miss for me. And I'm like John, I don't hate the movie. I love Rachel McAdams as an actress. I think she's severely underrated just because she's not in our face all the time. But I mean, best I can do, 2.5.
best I can do. Um, I yeah, Sam Raimi. I don't know. He spent so much time producing movies and not directing movies, and it's almost like I don't want to say that he peaked with Army of Darkness, but that was to me like the pinnacle for him. And I think he's done good stuff since then. I wouldn't say he's done bad stuff. Simple Plan was great.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah, but it's like he definitely seems the past few years when he does something, it's like he has these simple ideas and they're kind of quirky and strange, but they're not. I don't know. I don't want to say he's lost it, but it's just something about it is very odd when you think it through, especially like this movie. It just feels like he had an idea, but he didn't really have a big idea. And he just, as he wrote it, he was like, all right, that's fine. You
I wonder
know,
if it's studio interference now because you got to think early stuff and probably even the first Spider-Man movies that he did, he didn't have
yeah.
a whole lot of studio influence. They just make a good Spider-Man movie, make
Yeah.
Army of Darkness, however you want to make it.
Yeah, I mean, but overall, I don't hate it. I just wish it was. I wish it would have been more of a straight up thriller to where it really does fuck with you by the end of it. Like you think it's going to go one way and it gut punches you. I think that would have been a more compelling movie, but that's not the movie he wanted to make. So it's 2.5 out of 5. Same.
So he didn't write it.
He didn't. Okay.
No, it was two dudes that I didn't know. So my initial ranking was a 4, and I'm gonna stick with my 4. That puts us at a 3. It's fun. I'll watch it again. I'll own it. And I do think Sam Raimi. We love Sam Raimi. Like we're not, no one's disputing that, but he definitely peaked. And I think he's more a product of the 80s and early 90s, like his style. Even this movie, like it could have been a little zanier and it would have fit in the 80s, no problem. So yeah, Army of Darkness probably was his peak. I still like it would have two better, but I get what you're saying there. So all right, that puts us at a 3 for this one. All right, that's it for this episode. Be sure to one more question. This is related to this episode and our Green Room episode. Green Room, they ask Anton his desert island ban, right? Reminds you your desert island movie. You're stuck on a desert island by yourself. You have a nice house you can stay in that you find eventually. What's the one movie you wish you could take with you? Don't everybody jump at once.
Probably, honestly, probably either The Jerk or I Love You, Man. Because I would
Jerk.
never get miserable watching those. I don't want to pick a horror movie because I'd have to have something
Yeah.
funny. So
Mine would be one of the Jackass movies for sure.
Yeah.
Like just something you can watch repeatedly over
Yeah.
and over again, and it never really gets old. Kellen's still thinking real hard.
Jeez,
I'll do our
movie?
outro, and then that gives you time to think.
My gut instinct is Forrest Gump, just because it has all the emotions and it's a long enough movie to where I could take a break. I probably The Sandlot. The Sandlot's just a fun movie for me, and something I could put in the back. Or Hot Rod, just because it's so
Sandlot.
dumb.
Yes.
Sandlot in the sand.
Yes. Oh.
Hot Rod's so funny. All right, that's it for this episode. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to wherever you're listening to this podcast. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, join our Facebook group, and if you have Amazon Music, there's some. Sorry, Kellen's motioning. He's motioning to you, John. All right, got to figure it out. All right, follow us on Amazon. Check out our playlist on Amazon Music as well. It's got a lot of songs. It's got some songs from this movie, Blondie, because I think that's like the only songs that are in it. But it's a good little playlist. So, all right, signing off. I'm Jay with John and Kellen. And until next time,
Keep it spooky.